yes, we know. Okay, and analogies. Analogies are absolutely analogies are connected to N. Why do you guys use analogies so damn much? Like, what is going on there? Honestly, I just think it seems to be in some way, shape, or form. If we can skip over the random bullshit of things down here, I'm going to be able to, in some way, shape, or form, connect in some kind of magical world where I'm not weighted down by having to remember the sensory.
It feels like the role of somebody covering all the stupid shit is already done. I feel I don't have the obligation of like somebody like, please explain to me logical sensor things that are right in front of my face that the last guy already said. Please go over them in more detail. I feel like that role has been filled by most people, and they're like, it's like, well, I guess I'm here to talk about where is this going?
Right.
What's this remind you of?
Right.
And like, so analogies like pull together lots of conclusions, because I don't know what the sensor-specific, goddamn detailed logical facts are in your life, nor do I care.
Oh my God.
I just want to give you the bottom line, bigger picture pattern.
Right.
And then you put it together in an analogy so you can apply that forever, everywhere.
Okay. Well,
is the thinking
Yeah,
going
that's
on.
what's the thinking. Yeah, because you really consciously think about that every day, all day. So let's,
that's what it feels like.
Right. Let's see what he actually says. So this is Robert in an interview with Joe Rogan, and you're going to hear a little bit of difference in the way that they communicate. Robert is going to use analogies a whole lot. So take a look.
It's always it. You know what I mean? It's always that thing of you click and you go, here's my sense. What do you think? And then the gal or the guy says, yeah, let's lean into that. And then you go, but do this and that. Hey, will you give me some of this? And you go, yeah. And all of a sudden you're in a synergy. It's like a good interview, like a good fight, like a good dinner. It just kind of happens.
The gentleman right there. That's a crazy look.
Yeah. To me, I just thought can Doolittle be like that? He goes, does he have to be that way the whole way through? I go, no. When they find him, he's a recluse. And then the animals like clean him up and then he looks less unhandsome or less weird for the kids for the rest of the movie. But let's find him like that.
This concept of things just sort of falling into place. I'm a big believer in that too.
Yeah.
What is that though? Is that you getting out of your own way? Like what is that? Isn't
that 70% of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say it's 70% maintenance of what can I do to do my part to stay out of the way. And then the other part, I always think of it as like this little super thin, invisible thread, but you can feel the tug and you have to be really gentle and you have to pause when agitated and you have to go for it when you can, like, if there's 4 walls in here, which one has the map behind it? It's that one. And you knock down the wall and it's there, you know.
Yeah, what is that though? That's a
synchronicity, intuition.
But labeling it is very dangerous because it's so filled with woo. Yeah. So it's, there's so many people that are hucksters that have like made a career out of sort of like labeling it and defining it or teaching you how to get to it.
It's great because it's the commodity that you can't capitalize on, and yet if you don't show proof of its existence, you shouldn't even be qualified to speak on it. I don't know. Right. It's the big I don't know.
Yay!
Yay, it's the big I don't know. I can't put it in the sensory. And poor Joe there is right here. So he's like, so woo, right? Woo's bad. You could have bad people that would get a hold of the woo and then they could manipulate you.
You watch any interview with Robert Downey Jr. and it's just nothing but nonstop analogies and stories and it likes and it reminds me of, and it's hard to really go, what the hell exactly are you talking about?
Right. It literally is going to be, here's the sensor for you. It is going to be a ratio.
I kind of see that.
And I didn't even realize how much you're doing that. I feel like you talk normal until I'm like, wait a minute.
Until you start counting it, yeah.
Yeah, it's an actual ratio. I'm trying to get the what. I'm actually giving, no, this is what happened. That's what happened.
I'm noticing it with like typing clients and stuff.
Yes.
Like it's if I asked, it's like so much of like typing people is understanding the parts and the functions, which is not a lot of work. We're finding that most people are able to understand the functions and the definitions within a month or two.
Right.
Watching the YouTube videos even, it's not that hard.
Right.
What takes some more time is like figuring out the right kinds of questions and stuff. And so Absolutely. It's like a chess analogy. Gotta get analogies from the same old box.
Oh my God.
It started to figure out, wait, what is a good move for this and that, or this situation, or what question can I use to break down? So it's like, I'm finding it's like, it's not just learning more about the parts. It's learning more about how to ask clever questions for the parts already there. So to force myself to get a little specific. It's like asking the question every once in a while of what is this person not doing? So for example, we'll get people to come through and it's hard to really prove, like, are they sensory dominant or intuition dominant? So that's the coin I'm stuck on.
Right.
And it's like, all right, let me go through their emails and their video. Like, I can't tell. Then I'm like, wait a minute.
What are you not doing
And I go,
all
ooh,
day?
there's no, or there's very, very, very little analogies.
Yes.
There's very, very little weird abstract stories.
Yes.
It's when I'll ask that question that I'll see what's not there.
Yes. And honestly, so here's the sensory for you. I believe you could probably clock it. I believe that you could actually set a timer. Because I was like playing this out as I was typing people, and I'm like, okay, I know that this is somebody that is giving me a lot of sensory. So then I'd have to look at the other side. Are you giving me any analogies? And in a span of 2 hours, I'm watching the person for 2 hours. Every single story, so here's your sensory right here. Like, so take a look at this little image right here. All of this stuff that they were talking about, it was an actual computer.
Oh, right.
It was a actual phone. It was an actual birdie app sign thing, fuck thing. So
Right.
like, nothing that was communicated about was some abstract thing. If you have the you could literally be talking about a computer, but if Robert Downey Jr. was talking about it, it would be an analogy in some way, shape, or form.
That's a good one.
So much, like the percentage is intense, especially if you have it at the top. Like Robert has the N at the top.
When Robert talks about pulling on a string, is it an actual string? No.
Right.
But people that are sensory dominant usually, or not usually, but almost all the time,
I know.
when they talk about pulling on a string, it's an actual
I'm
string.
talking about actual string.
Or when they use an analogy, they'll make sure you're not lost.
Yes.
They'll be like, oh, it's like when you're pulling on a string.
What I mean by that
Right.
is,
And then they'll ground it again.
yeah, in fact, even listening to Jocko, he was a good example where he was like, let me give an analogy, quickly pull it down to, here's an example of what I mean by that analogy. So
Right.
I have a second clip. Let's take a look. All you're going to hear, so now you're going to be listening for it. All you're going to hear is somebody that is the majority of the time speaking in analogies.
Right.
There's been times when I felt I'm in possession of it, and then you want to let go a little bit because it's only ever the moment in life guiding you. The wind is so at your back that you're like, wow, are you just jumping over the waves and all that by yourself? And you're like, you bet I am. But there's a physics to the moment, man, moment, machine, whatever, and the wind's at your back. And then the wind does what the fucking wind does, and it changes. And if you're left there thinking, so I think it's great to be in full possession of what you would call supreme confidence, and then see what happens if you don't hold on to it so hard, because it's great. But it is a bit of an illusion because, like everything else, it's always changing. And every day, the reset button, the space bar gets pressed, and it's like, now what?
Yeah. The reset button.
I know that sensor. I have a reset button. The winds, the waves, confidence on your
Yeah.
back, changing. None of it is real.
Nothing. We did not talk about he was not talking about swimming, you know?
Even the reset button.
Not real.
Not a real reset button. Poor Joe Rogan's just going,
I don't know how to track.
Yeah, the NFs are like, the NFs are like, I want this feeling, this principle to be able to apply to anyone.
Yes.
So I don't want to give specifics.
Because now you're tying it too
Because they're
strongly
like,
to the
well,
earth.
that doesn't apply to me. Like, well, then I guess the principle doesn't work for you.
Right, exactly.
He wants to give a generality so it
Right.
fits for anyone in that zone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the lesson to learn here is do the sensory and just go through your video. Like do a video of your own self and just count the sensory of how much you're using analogies and how much you're not. If you're using sensory, physical world, universe things, 90% of your conversation, chances are you're maybe not on the side of intuitive.
That's honestly kind of a good point.
Yeah.
If you, that's basically all we're doing.
Yeah.
If you were to record a 20-minute video of yourself, just rambling about what's important to you, what your average week is like, just get in a flow state where you're just bullshitting.
Yeah, you have to be stream of
And
consciousness.
so you got to stop remembering this. You got to stop going, okay, I got to play the analogy game.
Let me go with my analogies and
Right, so maybe you go find a video that's already recorded. That'd be
There you
ideal.
go.
Find
Yep.
some past video of yourself.
That's good.
And then look for, are you using a Robert Downey Jr. amount of fucking analogies or not?
there you go.
Ice cream, Miss Sprinkle.